Okay, hello my audience. Today I want to continue my art making process over here, and this is the second session of today, and I'm going to try out maybe new things, and I'm going to try to come up with some good art. And it's quite of a challenge, because the starting points that we have, are very far away from being art. But we can use the magic of the softwares, or the software we are using over here. And the reason for these videos to exist is not to be entertaining or anything like that. They are process videos of my own work, and I work better when I record it like this, and I practice talking English so we get kind of few birds with one stone. That's what I always kind of try to head for, is that we don't kind of waste time. And you see that here we have a black hole and a UFO and a tree. UFOs, black holes and trees. Okay, that's our first layer. Then we work on the second layer. Like there are no real rules how I do this. It's just by feel, and it's kind of probably the same way that a digital music artist would work in a digital audio workstation. When you have done it enough, you just go by feel, and you no longer have to kind of, like, you see, I'm kind of analyzing everything that I do, but at the same time I'm not, Okay, here's a picture out of a construction. What is this even called? As I said, it's great practice for the language ability also, but a construction site, or I don't know what it is called, but let's make it red. Let's make it red. That's almost pretty cool on its own, but that's not art. And why is that? Well, it's quite hard to explain, but that's not art. Art is kind of, well, you can ask some people from like modern art ask this question, like, is that art? Well, does that mean that if you don't know that it isn't art, then, well, is this art then? Well, it's getting closer to being art. Maybe with art, it has to be far away from the single only thing that it was, made out of. So if we art is really about elevation and elevating something that is not art, or something. Actually no, I'm gonna take that back. Here's my shadow. Is this art? Well, might be artistic, but that's kind of different, like what's artistic and what's art is kind of different. If we have an artist, it's possible that almost everything that the artist does is artistic, but it might not still be art. You have to understand that. But that doesn't tell anything about the person's capability to make art, So I would say that picture is artistic, So we might have like photographers who are like photographers, then there are those who take photographs that are kind of artistic, and I try to be a photography artist, so that's kind of different, Okay, so here, 4 layers, or actually 3 layers, and I'm thinking that we're gonna use this as the first layer. That's very interesting stuff that happens, You can ask also the question, is fashion art? I'm gonna say that yeah, it can be actually art. It can be art. Yeah, for sure. Then if we do this, I'm just going. Sometimes you feel that that's already kind of. I feel that that's almost that's so freaking close to being art. It's art, but it's not yet good art. So we have to make it good next. First we have to make it art, and then we have to make it good. No, good art. Fuck man. Fuck these fucking wires, you know. Fuck the fucking wires, you know. If you want to be an artist. Well, I use Linux, you know, but most use Mac. Okay, so here then. I'm kind of thinking that should I use this layer at all, or should I use it just, you know, very faintly, you know, like that. There's this tree, you know. I feel that that would add something to the picture, so I'm gonna use that. But at the same time, you know, I'm gonna delete this layer over here, and I'm gonna bring back the opacity over here. And then I'm going to try if I can elevate this picture to the level of art. But with photography, the problem is just the materiality of the photograph and the screen, you know. It's hard to make it look, well, it doesn't have to look like kind of painterly to be art, but at the same time, you know, that's what I try to go for. But of course, it's not the only way. It's not the only way to go about it. But you have to think like an artist to be able to do this, you know. And how does an artist think? Well, an artist kind of uses reality, you know. For an artist, a reality is not a means to itself, you know. It's just the starting point, and then we go from there. And with photography, it's very interesting because usually cameras, you know, like make very accurate representations of what they see. But if you like play around with the exposures and all settings in the camera and use movement, you know, you get this like this kind of thing happening. And when you combine like really, you know, steady photos with movement, you know, and some artistic sensibility, or actually quite a lot, you end up with something like this. And I think that's art, you know, that's art for sure. Like that's art. And why is that? Well, it's not the world. It's not the world, and it's, you know, it's unified, you know, it's just one thing, you know, there's no pieces to it. Okay, so the final try over here before I say that that's ready is, oh yeah, I actually, isn't there the tree already kind of faintly, you know, over there? I don't know, maybe not. What did it do? Oh yeah, like this. Just faintly, you know, the tree over there. Like that. Now we get to the level of like, I feel like good art, because it's so kind of varied. Okay, so here then. It's kind of challenging when you get the picture to a certain point and then you kind of change it. You start to go at the same time like backwards and forwards. You know? I think that's very good, but it's kind of starting to break into pieces, you know, and that's not good art. It might still be art, but that's not good art. And what I like about abstract art is that it's just its own thing, you know. But it's very understandable that abstract art actually came about in urban environments, you know, because they weren't so natural for the kind of the way that human beings see the world. Here we have very, you know, strong contrast, but I don't like that. Brings the black too much forth. That's actually very good, you know. When we come like forward, you know, it starts to look shit, you know. Maybe I'm too demanding of the picture, I don't know. We can also use the sliders over here, just kind of play around with it until we get it to close where we want it to be, but okay, let's look at the versions over here next. That's the best I can get. Okay, so here was the starting point. It was like a black hole, top of each other, and then this, then this, and this, then this. The shadow. You see this? This is kind of cool, I think. This is cool. Then we progress forward. You have the shadow kind of. Is that like finished? Well, no, I don't feel so. That's actually from the same area, the picture. It's a very it's an artistic photograph, but it's not art, you know. This one, it's art. Yeah, but is it finished? It's very close. It's very close to being finished, but there's something wrong with it. I feel that this shape is a little bit too much to the left, you know. It feels very wrong, you know. I don't know why. Okay, I have no idea why I picked this photo, but I just felt that if I took this photo and I kind of flipped it around like this, and I put it under this, and I kind of made it like this, I just kind of felt that there could be something in it that kind of finished the other picture. Then we're gonna like look at it on its own and maybe like rotate it perfectly. So now kind of over it, you know, the pictures are perfectly on top of each other, so there's not this, you know. Yeah, that's good. And we're gonna change around the color a bit, you know, because the other one is kind of, the other one is red, so I would make this green because they are kind of the opposite colors. And then we're gonna try again. We're gonna bring it forward just a bit, you know, like that. And then I feel that at that point, when we did that change to the picture, it it kind of looks good now, but we have to get something to here. And I would pick something that kind of obscures this part also to make it more like abstract feeling. Okay, wet concrete, or like, what is this like? This from a parking, what's it called? Like a parking lot, you know, like underground parking, you know, that kind of stuff. From the floor, you know, you can see some footsteps over here. There are like squares in that, and yeah, detective work, you know. And then we put it on like that, and we might kind of do something to it to make it not show so much. Maybe what if we made it like that, and then change the color a bit. No, so I would go something like purple now. No, well, no, actually, something like blue. No, well, I don't fucking know. You know, this is starting to feel pretty fucking. Man, if I could go to some, you know, Freemasonic lodge, you know, to take pictures of the freaking floor there, that would be cool. Let's make it like that big, you know. Like that. Okay, but now the problem is, yeah. It's bad. Try that. This is kind of too big of a kind of shape. Maybe it doesn't look so good, but let's try it. Okay, now let's go again to the effects. Try to find like that. That looks too much like photography right now, because most of those photographs, they were kind of, you know, realist. Okay, that's interesting. You know, I like this where there's like green and red. Like green is hues, and you know, this red type. This is very deep. This is very light. You know. Okay, now just you know, the final kind of maybe when you look at it, it looks a bit washed out. Sometimes it's better that it's a bit washed out, but it's such a finicky deal because it's so the minuscule difference between values, you know, can make a picture look like a cohesive whole. I'm gonna say that that's probably pretty close to finished, you know. Let's do something crazy with it now. It starts to look like the night sky. I'm thinking about if we yeah, yeah, like that. Now we get into like a territory of a silk screen, you know, like that looks like silk screening. Then we kind of bring this forth. Okay, I'm gonna just save a couple of different versions over here. I love I love that picture, you know. So for some reason, I don't know why, but it's like you like I don't know if a painter would paint like choose those colors, you know, for a picture. Like it's such a weird color scheme, but it like the way that it works, you know, like it's amazing. Like when if you would wear that kind of color scheme, you know, like in like clothes, you know, that would be very 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 interesting indeed. Okay, so when there's too much saturation, it's kind of bad, and when there's not enough, it's kind of boring, you know. Didn't I save this one already? But the problem over here is that this part is better, but this contrast is better. So I'm just gonna use the sliders. I think we need a little bit more contrast and a little bit more black, a little less white. The highlight, no, well, that should be about the same. You know, I feel that I can't kind of make this fucking thing work. That's fucking challenging. That's fucking challenge, you know, I'm gonna say that. Let's use this first. Then we're gonna use, I don't know why, but I feel like I wish like we use this and then decrease. Like yeah, well, that's very close to me being like happy with it, but and yeah, I'm in no way like a perfectionist in art or in anything in my life. I think it's very not shallow, but a very a perfectionist a human being. It lacks, you know, deep understanding of life or reality itself, you know. But of course, I try to make everything that I do kind of the best it can be. But it's just a stepping stone, you know, to something better in the future. But I like the materiality of this picture, you know, like it looks like a wall that has been painted, you know, like there's like depth into it, because if you would paint a wall, you know, you would get this color over here, you know, like that, and it would kind of peak in the highest parts of the picture. I think that's very close to what I want. I think that's kind of finished, yeah. And it's a very weird color scheme, you know, as I said, you know, if you would wear that in like clothes, certainly get you some attention. Like that. Cut out that part. Just a sliver, you know, of here. Does that white kind of matter? I think it kind of belongs in the picture. Yeah, it shouldn't even be cropped from there, I think. I should just leave it like that. And it shouldn't be signed either. Well, of course you could sign it. But what kind of font would you even use in here? Something like this. Usually the signatures that I have done, well, there are a couple of ones that I like managed to do like really cool, you know, like they belong in the picture, but most of the time, you know, the signatures I have done, you know, have been just shitty, you know. Well, it might be a video element, you know, but I'm not gonna sign this picture, you know. That's it, that's ready, like that's great, you know. Let's look at the final versions one more time. Okay, so there was a lot of steps to this. We started from here, went to the black hole, we got our shadow a little bit like that, then we ended up here, and I was kind of like, is this ready? But it's not yet ready. We ended up here. This is kind of, it's very close, and it's just that I feel, you know, that it's very close. Oh yeah, over here you see this part. I didn't notice that in the picture, but it kind of works over here, you know. I've kind of figured that out, and in this one it's kind of, that was the final picture, and yeah, that's ready, you know, that's finished. And it's a very like this kind of this color scheme, you know, I don't know, it brings to mind the copyright thing, you know, but this one, I don't know, it's just, it's making progress. But this one, you know, like when we get to here, like that's, I think that's amazing, you know? Like, yeah, freaking shit, like that's good. I'm happy with that. That's going on my portfolio page for sure. And this line over here, yeah, it's supposed to be there. Thanks for watching this video.